All right. Let's do the thing. Let's do the thing. Here we go. How is everybody doing on this cold, yucky, rainy Tuesday? All right. How we doing? Hey, Icy, Coot, Real. Let's see. Blow up this chat so I can see. How we doing? Yeah, Boulevard. Yeah, Vegas. They looked a little cooked. They looked a little bit cooked last night, no doubt. Sportsnet put up a poll asking Leaf fans which Panther players they hate the most, Marchand, Benner, or Kachuk. They are obsessed. Hey, Coot, Stoley was present on the ice. That's good practice. Yeah, he probably doesn't return, right? Yeah, no, not for this series anyway. Maybe next year, Stoley. No, I don't want to see him play in the next series because I don't want there to be a next series for Toronto. So there's that. Hey, thank you, Bucks Rays. Thank you, bud. Yeah, I appreciate that, my friend. Panthers in 6. It could happen. I can't believe it could happen at this point, but it can happen. Guitar Coach says, not going to lie, I hope we win the next 2 just so we can move past Leaf fans. They are the biggest crybabies. It has just gone crazy. It has absolutely gone nuts. The whole thing. Hey, Matthew. So, yeah, I know the internet is working, right? Yeah, Ted, I need a. That's like from the movie Jaws, when the mechanical shark, was in such bad shape that they had to make an announcement when the shark was working. If you've ever watched any of the making of Jaws, I got a kick out of that. So yeah, the internet is actually working. All right. Oh, we're gonna talk about the elephant in the building? Probably not. No. Who got suspended? Why did the Panthers put somebody? Oh, the whole thing with Sefue. Apparently from the league, Trey. Saul says Leafs fans don't want to talk about how Knies was basically on top of Mikkola and getting his foot. Both teams have gotten away with things, but we don't see Panther fans crying. Yeah, he's just suspended. You know. Real says again, this is why I wanted the Sens. Their fans are nowhere near as nuts. It is an eclectic bunch. It's just a whole generation of fans raised on Reddit. It's not real life. Trey says, man, would have been more impressed if Vinny had done it. Well, it doesn't surprise me, Sefue popping off like that. They had to reel him in back when the summer I created this channel. Sefue was all over Twitter interacting with us fans. And not always so nice at all. Oh, you didn't realize till this morning we weren't playing today? Oh. With all due respect to Steve Dangle, he needs to just mature and grow up. All right. What Dangle is doing is an absolute disservice to himself and to the game because he's full of shit. If he actually believed that the games were rigged in that fashion, he wouldn't be watching the games. He wouldn't be making videos. He wouldn't be as emotional about the things as he is. He's baiting everybody for clicks because he knows the Leaf Reddit generation will eat it up. So good for him, but he's full of shit. Okay? And I'd say that to his face. He doesn't believe it for a second. He takes things just like the rest of the generation does. They take things and they twist it to fit their narrative. And then it turns out, interestingly, that most of what they said was kind of fabricated and stretched and not exactly the way that it went down. Yeah. You heard some crybaby Leaf fans calling the Florida team the dirtiest team of all time. It's just sad because I got news for those people. Without the physicality of what goes on in the playoffs every year, the league dies. The league's not surviving because of regular season hockey. The league survives because everybody rushes to the games and the TV and everything for the playoffs because of games like Florida versus Toronto. Not because of what the Caps and Canes are putting on the ice, that's for sure. Hey, Drew. Oh, yeah, no, that's Drew. That is absolutely Doug Sefue. Doug Sefue, unfortunately, that's his modus operandi. Is that what they call it? He used to be that way on Twitter years ago. When I started this channel, 16, 17, he was all over Twitter. And when I mean all over Twitter, if I tweeted something and he didn't like it, he'd retweet it and respond to it and fight with fans. Not just me, but he'd fight with fans like a regular fan, like a completely unmitigated mess. So then he said his wife told him to stop being on Twitter so much. I think Vinny had something to do with that. And then now I've seen over the last year or so, I guess he's got a bunch of financial people that are pissed off at him, people that are in the financial end of Twitter and all of that. And they constantly bicker back and forth. And he got baited, and he's an idiot for you have to think before you speak. You have to think before you speak, especially if you're going to be in that position. Now, what I'm interested to know is what was the part that got him suspended? Was it the Israel-Hamas stuff, or was it the 51st state stuff? That's what I'm interested in, because it seems to me it's probably the 51st state stuff. I could be wrong. At least he didn't send his heart out to anyone. You think it was the Israel stuff? I don't know. It's such a weird thing. Is he not allowed to have his I don't know. Is what it is. Tara says, I never liked Doug, but he tolerated it because it was your team, right? Cass says, I think it was a mix of both. So I doubt they really care about either comment, but he's supposed to be professional. Right. And that's just it. Yeah. You can't be the partial owner of any team and say stuff like that, and think there's going to be no consequences. So it is what it is, but it doesn't surprise me at all because, now the only thing I'll say is, like yesterday, people saying he was threatening Canadians. It's like, come on, don't start with that. You can look at what he said and parse through it and say it's inappropriate and all of that, but I don't like when people make up perceived meanings to things when they know it's not the case. Puck said, we have major hockey media in Toronto, no way to 51st state comment flies. Right. Hey, thank you, Drew. I appreciate that, bud. Thank you, Drew. Thank you, bud. Trey says 51st state is just a chirp. I may not agree, but it's just a chirp. The Israel stuff was tone deaf and just flat out unbecoming. I mean, I'm not even going to pretend to know any of that. I'm not even going to pretend to know any of it in this of what's going on in the world that way, because I've just learned enough to not trust any information that you see on the TV anywhere. So I do my hockey videos, I sell my eBay stuff, and I go fishing. You know what I mean? That's what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go and try to pretend that I know anything about that stuff. Gasp. That's it, man. I learned long ago, you know. I could ask the fishes about recent events. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What's current events? I lost my last fish. There goes an osprey. There's an eagle, right? That's the current events. You know, that's it. So Pente wants to know, Jaws, what do I think how Reinhart and Swaggy have played so far in the postseason? So I've been really impressed with how Swaggy has added the other element to his game with the hitting, and he's really played well, and he's starting to score goals now. Reinhart, to me, I think is just not, I'm not going to say he's hurt, but I think he's just played a lot of hockey. He's played a lot of hockey because he's always healthy, and I think there's just that 2% of his energy is missing, and the puck's just not going in. Just doesn't seem to be moving quite as with a purpose. There's a little bit more coasting than I think we're used to seeing from him. Vincent says, but isn't there a differentiation when you speak as a person or as an officer? So while I get that, I'm not disagreeing there, Vincent. I know what you're saying, but I think because he was interacting with hockey people in that context, I think that's because I've seen him, his stuff comes up on my feed every once in a while when I'm on Twitter. And I've seen him arguing with the people in the business financial world. I've never seen him say anything like that, but I've definitely seen him say things to people that are like, bro, like maybe you need some anger management. He seems like a guy that needs some anger management. And but I think in the context of talking with another hockey fan, you can't get that juiced up if you're him in that moment to have that response, even if it's just like, you know, because you have to know they're going to make a big deal out of it. You have to know that that's going to happen. Do I think moving Swaggy to the second line helped them step up? Yeah, probably matchup wise, right? And plus Tkachuk is playing better too. Tkachuk has definitely played better the last few games. Craig says Rhinos looked more like Rhino the last couple of games. Yeah, everybody's just getting a little bit better. Appreciate that, Pente. Yeah, you can clearly see the difference when the Cats are playing good. Yeah, especially on the PK. Talking about Reinhart. Yeah. Hey, Ryan, how you doing, bud? Leaves in 7. Shark in the Mud Tuesday. I'm trying to stay out of it. I made the chat subscriber only, so it might help 10%. I knew what was coming as soon as I saw the news this morning. My God, geez. What's next? They're going to blame us for seeding the clouds or something. Drew says, do I think the players were trying or are trying to conserve energy for the long haul? Kind of seems like they were coasting until the series could turn bad. Not quite that. I think that once Toronto got that 3-1 lead, I don't want to say panic set in, But I don't think up until that moment, I don't think the Panther players believe Toronto could beat them. They're going to say what they're going to say in front of the cameras and all of that. They're a good team, blah, 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 blah. But I don't think behind closed doors, until Toronto had that 3-1 lead and they were already up in the series 2-0, I think Florida thought that at some point, either the Leafs would, quote, leaf, or that pucks would just start magically going in and things would just start magically going their way. So I think once Toronto got that 3-1 lead, I think the team just kind of looked around at each other and be like, okay, we might lose. We might lose here. And they've been pretty damn good since then. The Stump says it's obvious all this attention is going to be used by the Leafs to rile up the locker room, which is expected. The Panthers would do that if it was the opposite situation. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying I disagree, but I don't think if it was the opposite. There's just so much. It's just so much there. I mean, there's the one thing with I seen the man Tough Call did a video. Apparently they think Mikkola opened up the gate on purpose, and it's just like at some point, do any of these people hear themselves at all? Like, it is just incredible the number of conspiracy theories about this whole series that are going on out there, and I blame Dangle for it. He's being extremely irresponsible. All he cares about is freaking his views and watch time, and he's not taking any responsibility with being basically the second biggest channel in hockey. And it's just a bad look. Really pisses me off. Mr. Happy Puck says the Panthers organization needs to publish a public apology. That's an attack on the spirit of international competition between the USA and Canada. I'm not saying I disagree, but that's a tough precedent to set. You know what I mean? Like, you have to handle this one, honestly, as quietly. And what I would say to that Happy Puck is that sometimes I would agree with you, but I think that if Florida did that, all they would be doing would be throwing gas on the fire. I don't think there would be one Leaf fan that hates them now that would be like, oh, it's okay, they apologized. I think it would just inflame things 10 times worse, because you're dealing with a lot of irrational people. James said, no updates on Erod just yet. Kenneth. Oh, man, I feel bad for the good Leaf fans that have been here all these times. It's not you guys. You guys know that. And I mean, it is what it is. It's something crazy. Donna says everyone's getting their legs back. I think they will get the job done since they have a lot of energy. Yeah. Oh no, Cass. Bob is it. There's no giving him a break. He's the guy for sure. The only way that we would give him a break is if we were, up 5 goals at some point and going into the third period, maybe you'd let Vanacek get, a period in. But for Bobrovsky, the more he works, the better he is. Fake news says Leafs don't have no answer for the Cats' fourth line. They've chewed up minutes and created chances. Yeah. Once you made that change to the fourth line, that's a good point, Coot. That's definitely something that's helped. Yeah, Rodriguez still not cleared for Game 5. So I would assume at that point you see, I don't know. I like Nosek there, but I know it was just because he was in the game and he had to do something. I guess you'll probably see Verhaeghe move back up and Sam Miskevich back with Bennett and Tkachuk. I would think that's the way it's going to go so that Nosek could stay on that fourth line. Okay, Rodriguez is on the ice for the morning skate, so that's good. They said Rodriguez was faking it. Jesus Christ. That's what I mean. It's become a parody, a spoof, a Saturday Night Live skit. It's just so absurd. Dana, you're staying off. Doug Sefue got suspended from the league for what he did on Twitter the other day. Vincent says they were just out of shape playing meaningful games. To be honest, 4 out of 5 Tampa games were just weird. They didn't play well. Yeah, I mean, game one especially was an aberration. Lady Sky says if we beat the Leafs and get the Oilers in the finals, we'll get more conspiracy fear. I know. Although the Oilers fans last year were fine. Like, I don't think we had even one issue with any Oilers fans last year. Ix says, I really do not want to play the Oilers again. That power play they have gave me too much anxiety. And that would be that would be crazy to see a rematch just like that. I see. What's uncalled for and completely stupid? You gotta clarify. Real says, I'd say this is what happens when you don't win anything for decades, but the Dolphins have won anything for decades, and we hate our own management more than anything else. Yeah, there's enough sunshine in Miami to keep people sane, right? Adonis, that's exactly it. You're exactly correct there. Well, he doesn't even know who I am, according to him, so that's fine. He doesn't need an apology from me. That's for sure. Yeah, exactly, Drew. I hate when players smack their face on the ice in embellishment. I know, right? Stolars is skating. Well, I hope he's okay. I can't imagine they're going to take Wall out, though. I mean, really. Who says Leaf fans are making seem things and making conspiracies about us, like people thinking anything mildly abnormal is caused by aliens or the CIA, right? Fake news says with Samo in the second line, with Bennett, that becomes a liability in the D zone. I mean, the only other thing you could do is leave Nosek there, you know. Yeah, Guitar Crow, I seen it, right? Heiskin is returning tonight. Yeah, lady, I know. It's wild. It's wild. It's hard to watch. It's just yeah, exactly, Vincent. Yeah, I was faking it, right? Dana. Trey says maybe not in here, but online as a whole, Oil fans are the worst. They legitimately think they would go 82-0 if not for the refs. Yeah, the conspiracy theories. I know it's. Real says that's because I didn't go on Twitter, Jaws. Oiler fans were crazy. I thought they were worse than Leaf fan. Yeah, that's probably why I don't go on. I don't go on Twitter because eventually, you know what I mean? I know myself, and eventually, somebody going to get me. Somebody going to get me pissed off enough, right? Carr says, I don't want to see Oilers rematch. If we lose, it sucks to get close and fail. If we win, I feel for Oilers fans. Yeah, you can't even look at last year's series and predict how it would go because it was just basically 3 different series and wrapped up into one. Enough sunshine to keep Florida sane until the next hurricane, right? I I guess because of what, well, not I guess, because what Sefue said on Twitter yesterday too. And I'm sure that guy is going to be a legend in Leaf fandom if he's a Leaf fan. I mean, Sefu's got to be smarter than that. One wild and crazy guy says, I didn't realize how much of a reputation we have as a dirty team, so I started watching the podcast for other teams. Do I think we really deserve that reputation? No. I didn't realize it until the first Boston series. I found low-quality Bruins fans, and it was just already accepted narrative that we were the dirtiest team in the league. And the thing that I find interesting is, like, a lot of the times that the supposed dirty hits and everything, I mean, it's not like we're watching the national broadcast. You would think if there was something that went down that might be a little bit sketchy, they would show the replay, go over it, et cetera, et cetera. But many times they're bringing up stuff that I haven't even seen, and it's just every like the Bennett hit, every, mini millisecond of everybody's movement is just like hyper looked at. And it's a shame. Dana says, I was at Edmonton games 3 and 4, and they were actually pretty nice, especially after the game, walking out of the building. I even had a guy protect us because we walked out and said we were guests of this city. See, now that's cool. That's cool, yeah. I see. I think you must have misheard. I didn't say that he should be spewing stuff like that. I didn't, at no point have I said what he said was okay. I just said he wasn't threatening Canadians. I'm not sure what you heard, but I never said what he said was okay. I just didn't want people lying about the context of what he said. Yeah, we're doing the game tonight. Yeah. Hawkins says, hey, Jaws, I hate YouTube and unsubscribing. Anyway, all I will say is to the Toronto talking heads is this: if anyone else is out to get you, you and their problem is probably trying to look in the mirror. Yeah, if everybody else is out to get you, exactly. Yeah, exactly. When you win the championship, teams start hating you. Exactly. Yeah, do you think OEL sent Erod an apology like Bennett did? Hey, Mike. Yeah, Jay, yeah, exactly. A billionaire arguing with random people on Twitter. I've told the stories before. I mean, it it was bad. It was bad, man. When I first started this channel, I wish I would have made videos on some of the interactions that we had on Twitter, but I knew eventually he was going to pop off and say something. Yeah, all you know is Jaws has a dirty mind. Exactly. Yeah, that makes sense. Fly says, isn't it funny how it was Bennett's elbow that made Stolarz throw up and now all the Leafs have the flu? I like that one. Hey, David, how you doing, bud? I'm just scrolling because I'm way behind on the chat here. Oh, okay. I see. I get what you're saying about the apology. I guess the point I'm making with the apology is that they're not going to accept it. It's not like there's one Leaf fan that hates the Panthers that's going to take the apology and say, "Oh, okay, you know what I mean." It's just gonna make matters worse, is what I'm saying. No, it's no worry. Ladies, guys, the Leaf fans said Sefue was. Oh my God, yeah, that's what they were saying exactly. They were saying he was threatening them. Metal says Dangle hates us when the goal of the Leafs in the offseason was to become more like us and play like us. Yeah, we got all the champ hate Vegas was supposed to get. Oh yeah, it's beautiful, man. Outstanding, David. See, now that's the kind of stream that we need. What David said. I can't say that. I can't read it out loud, but that's what we think. That's what I think we should suggest. To the Leaf fans. Jake said, "Yeah, remember the analytics nonsense? You wouldn't be quiet." Oh my God! Oh my God! I remember. I'm glad I got rid of that old Jawsaholic account, but I wish I still had it. It was crazy that it was just like the owner of the team was just like completely trash talking with everybody, and just you kind of knew eventually he was going to pop off and say something, right? Yeah, David says, I'm also a Finns fan, but don't have the energy to hate anymore. Yeah, I think Finns fans at this point know that we're our own worst enemy. The team is. Dana and Ryan. Yeah, Ryan's a good guy. Craig says if the Leafs have the flu, then the Cats might get it too. Dana, oh yeah, Sefue loves to do it. He had stopped for a while, but the Stump says, imagine if Twitter existed in the 90s. There would have been even more crazy stuff from people like Sefue when things were insane in the hockey back then, especially how physical the game, right? Can you imagine, like, if they were watching hockey from the 90s? Just, oh my, it's just, this is the sport. This is the sport in the playoffs. I mean, Dangle says it himself. He's like, it's always the teams that play like this that win. Yes. Yes. It's quit bitching about it. It's what it is. Because people pay to watch that. People pay to watch that. You want to turn hockey into NFL? I mean, you can't touch a guy? Did I believe Tampa was a dirty team? Define dirty. Define dirty. So much of this stuff gets so blown up because we've got the slow motion replays and you got the social media and one guy says, I think he did this on purpose, and people run with it and it gets clicks and attention and views and all of that. And they're just out there playing the sport. Kenny says, I'll tell you what, I think hockey players are the best sport for keeping crap on the ice. End of the series, no matter what happens, there'll be handshakes. NHL players need to be top in class. Yeah, I agree with that. True. Oh my God. Occam says, wait until we sign Tavares on a sweet 1-year deal and he gets the game winner knocking Toronto out in the first round. Is that going to be our answer if they let Bennett walk? Barkov, Lundell, Tavares? Who says, did we not learn from our Your Mark Twitter issues of long ago? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say. See, I mean, I'm not surprised You know what I mean? That this happened to him. I hate it because it's our team, but eventually, you're not a YouTuber, Doug. You're not a YouTuber. And even a YouTuber can't get away without, I mean, they're not going to lose their channel, but people are going to come for them if they say that stuff. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Pi. Thank you. Says, how are we feeling for game 5? I feel good. Yeah. I like Paul Maurice's attitude with just not talking about any of the hits or any of that stuff. He's not even talking about it at all. I like it. X kind of true. So far, Goat Slayer, good day. Weather didn't cooperate with fishing today, but oh my God, yeah. Trey says people would have hated Michael Jordan if social media had existed then. Oh my God, right? Who else from the past would people have really like? Can you imagine them watching like Robert Parrish of the Celtics? Can you imagine this generation watching him throw elbows around? Oh my God. Who's old enough to remember that? Meadow says Elliot Freeman compared us to the 80s Pistons. They were rough and tough, and the rest wouldn't call everything, so they won championships. Yeah, Dana, I'm with you about the stopping on the social media. I go there every once in a while, but no, Bob's only got the one more. He's only got the one more year. He's going to get extended for a couple of years, probably 5 million, 6 million, maybe. That's my guess. I don't know anything. But from the way Maurice talked about it when they let go of Knight, he said the future is Sergei Bobrovsky. So my assumption is that they'll get an extension done before next year, so they don't have to go through the whole season with all the questions of, is this your last year, blah, 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 blah. So that's why I feel like an extension will happen this summer. Bucks, you think it give the Leafs a spark? I don't know. If they need that to motivate them, they've already lost the series. Especially if what Sefue said. Why am I moody today? Just not really. I wasn't looking forward to the questions about Sefue. So I made the chat subscriber only so that we at least didn't get bombarded if somebody was going to try to, come in and just really be ridiculous. Communist, 2 years, 5-6 million if he wants to stay. Yeah, Jake, Larry Bird, Dennis Rodman. Oh my God, can you imagine this generation watching Dennis Rodman? Oh no, Bill Lambier. That's another good name, Trey. Yep. Have I seen a UFO or a ghost? Well, I've seen UFOs. I don't know what they was because they was unidentified. These days, you never know if it's just what do you call it? You know what I'm trying to say. Damn it. The things that fly, a drawing. Ghost, I've seen my share of things that were unexplainable. That's for sure. X says, can we give up Erod? It just depends on who we're going to sign, right? And Bennett, we just don't know. Like, is he asking for an unreasonable amount of money? Does he want to go? Is Ekblad going to take $2, right? Now it should be Moody Tuesday now on Taco Tuesday, huh? Ryan says, hey, the Bucks will defeat the Dolphins in Hard Rock Stadium. They're not playing in Hard Rock Stadium. They're playing Joe Robbie Stadium. It's not a flex, though, beating the Dolphins, unfortunately. It's not much of a flex these days. The steel curtain. Yeah, right. You know, says now Dangle's even whining about Maurice defending his players, and now he doesn't want to talk about it. As if Berube does. I know. It's just he's just doing it because it gets he's speaking to his audience. You know what I mean? But he's completely oblivious to his any effect that his channel has outside of his own, his own being. Completely oblivious to the fact that people would then go around repeating it like it's fact because Dangle said it. The only thing we all know, the only thing that's ever fact is if the puppets say it. If the puppets say it, you want to bet against it, I can't help you there. Real says, imagine if Twitter was really popular during the early Pats dynasties, right? Yeah. Jake says, bird trash talk. No, he wasn't really all that bad. Parrish took care of a lot of that stuff. And who's the other guy that was sneaky that way? I have to think about it. That's what I grew up. I grew up watching Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. Back when basketball was good. Well, yeah. I mean, we're not in that bad of shape. We've got enough if guys want to stay. The Jones contract definitely, has an effect. So they're either letting Ekblad walk or he's taking a really cheap deal. Yeah, we all needed money, right? Yeah, exactly, Real. We're motivated by what Domi said. I just don't think it, I don't think for the players, I don't know how much that stuff affects. Now, we know what affects Chucky, right? Chucky's the next one. You never know what he's going to do. This stuff, you feel bad for Knight. Well, in a sense, I kind of feel better for him because he just wanted a chance to start. He wants to play. So, he's going to get his opportunity in Chicago. That's for sure. But what's interesting, he's only, they need to sign him to a deal. He's only got the one more year in the contract. So he's going to kind of get a chance to, because he's still an RFA, he's going to kind of get a chance to maybe pick if he doesn't want to stay in Chicago. Dana says life was always so much better in the 70s, 80s without all of this. It was. Yep. We didn't know what everybody was thinking. Imagine that. Imagine not knowing what everybody in the world was thinking about a particular subject. Hey, Colin. X, we got one. We got Cooper Black. We got one. We got one. He's in the AHL. I think Cooper Black is at least 6'4", or is he? How big is Cooper Black? I'm scrolling down to the bottom now. Let me see here. Come on. Why did it? Oh, come on. Let's see. Cooper Black is 6'8". He's 6'8". Excuse me. I didn't mean to call him short. He's 6'8". That's what they just said. He's 5'16". Trey says he's 5'16". Right? For Bennett, yeah, he's 6'8". Heard Stolarz was quoted on the ice saying, "Why are all these people on our farm, Uncle Jet?" Jesus. I assume that's without skates. I assume. That's massive. Good Lord. No wonder we got rid of Spencer Knight, right? He could eat Connor Hellebuck. He grows an inch every time I mention him. I just go by. I thought he was 6'6", but look at right. I think Stolarz is 6'6". X asked about what would I give Bennett yearly. If he's insisting on 8, he can only have 4 years. If you'll take $7 million, we'll give you 5 years. But that's it. That's it. If he thinks he's getting, 7 years at $9 million, it's just not going to happen here. Oh, I think it's like 4 something. I think Bennett right now is 4 something. Yeah. It was a 4-year 17.7, so it's like 4 point whatever. Yeah. Comments, yeah, talk about Cooper Black, right? Trey says, spamminess since you scroll down. In simplest terms, we have Bennett, Marchand, Rodriguez, and Mackey. One of them won't be here next year. Take your pick. That's easy. That's the easy one, right? Oh, wait a minute. You didn't even choose. You didn't even put Ekblad in there. But out of those 4, Rodriguez, if we could keep Bennett and Marchand together, and all it took was letting Rodriguez go, I mean, I love you, dude, but that's an easy call. Okay. Kenneth says, will Chucky ever become the player he was before the injury? Well, probably not. Not the same. I don't want him to be. I don't want him to be the maniac going hitting everything all over the ice. What we need from him is to be better on defense and get back in front of the net and cause chaos. He might, who knows? I mean, he's not going to take a year off. Maurice is saying he's right now. He's better. It's like, okay, all right. David says, X way more important than you realize. Just ask Paul Maurice. Gotcha, Trey. Yeah. No, I know. Ekblad isn't. I'm not dismissing him. And just with Jones, I don't know what he's thinking salary-wise. I just don't know what he's thinking. Because the only way you're signing Ekblad to a decent contract and signing Bennett, I mean, you can move Rodriguez, but that's still, I'd rather only have to move Rodriguez if we could keep Marchand. We'll see. There's nobody else with real, Mikula makes a few bucks, but you're not trading him. I'm thinking anybody in that $3 to $4 million range. You're not trading Mikula, not trading Luosterainen. Fly says Maurice is just trying to keep some physical pressure off Chucky, so he's lying. Yeah, a little bit. Craig says Chucky extends his career with less hits and improving his 200-foot game. He stole the puck from Tavares the other day. That was nice to see. Kyle is cooking something. I smell it. Man, I'm getting hungry. I think he's warming up pizza. Jesus, it smells good. Actually, yeah, we extended Jesper only for him not to play. I know. I mean, that one. I wish they would have watched what Sordiff could do before they extended Jesper at 1.5. I mean, that's the kind of money that we lost guys like Lomberg and Stenlin over. Maybe not so much Stenlin, but I just don't want Jesper to be like insurance in case we lose. Is he thinking Jesper's Erod insurance? I don't know. David says, no man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man. I like it. I like it. Kenny says, oh, do I believe Puppet Chicken Chuck like the other puppets, or does he talk like Chucky? He's, I haven't wanted to bring him because I didn't want to have bad juju. I don't know. I almost got his voice right. It's not easy to talk it with the mouthpiece in, but I just haven't wanted to bring it in during the middle of a series. I don't know. When I feel it. But Chucky, no, I believe anything Bob tells me, I believe. X says Chucky should purely focus on speed this summer. I think Chucky's getting surgery this summer, as I think what's going to end up happening. Martian, Jay says, Martian said he would re-sign for cheap if we got Sid. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, Chef Kyle, right? Trey says Jesper can be flipped. That's easy. Yeah. I got rid of Dan. Don't worry. Just not going to do it. Not on Moody Tuesday. Not on Hungry Monday. Not on Moody Tuesday. Neither day. I knew somebody was going to say something just enough to get the ban button today. So congratulations. Real. Well, that was the idea, was to talk like I had the mouthpiece in my mouth. And it worked, actually. It did work. It makes it sound like I'm chewing on the mouthpiece. Hey, Rosado. Grace says off-season, send Jesper to the Islanders so he can back with his brother. That's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah, actually, if we're getting Sid, we might as well get McKinnon at this point. Sure. So David says Palmer said Verhaeghe was playing the best out of all the forwards. He's playing really well. I mean, he's really played well. I know he's just starting to score. I'm just trying to think of who I would feel is playing more complete. We don't see what Barkov's doing because he's just, I'm not saying it in a bad way, but it's just he's kind of been invisible a little bit because he's busy neutralizing everybody else. Which one would be crazier to see, Panthers getting Sid the Kid or Ovi? Huh. I don't think Ovi's leaving, right? Rosado, I'll ban you too. Don't start. Paul lives in some goofy fly guy. You think Barkov is hurt? He hasn't looked right since the headshot. Metal says Marchand's been the best, I think. I kind of agree there. Barbashev, is he a free agent? That's interesting. I mean, if Bennett signs, I think if Bennett signs, that'll be incentive for Marchand to sign. Yeah, Lundell, Luosterainen have just leave them together. Rosado. I'm hungry. I need to eat. Yeah, the third line's our best line for right now. You think Barkov hasn't been right since that first injury? I don't want Mitch Marner. No, we don't need any overpriced, overpaid. We don't. We just don't. We just got to pay a couple of guys that we got to pay. and just keep robbing other teams at the trade deadline. You think he heard his spine fly? Huh. What was that? Colin said, I wonder what the betting odds for Bennett to the Leafs are. Right? I mean, wouldn't that be something? All of a sudden, they'd love the guy, right? We don't need glorified girl. That's good. I like that one. So, all right, everybody, I'm going to roll. I got to get some food in me. And, yeah, exactly, Fly Guy. Exactly. So, all right. Thank you all for hanging out. Much appreciation for all the super chats. We will be live tonight. Kyle will be awake tonight, which is a bonus for all of you, especially since there's only one game, so we're good to go that way. And yeah, I'm going to go get some lunch, and I'm going to go paint the house. I think I'll chop down some trees. What else am I going to do? Fix the roof. It's either that or I'm going to just go to the gym and do some videos. All right, everybody. We'll see you tonight.